Three, two, one. What's going on, everyone? You're watching Ash on Pillows. My name is Ash, and I'm sleeping on a bunch of pillows. No, that's not the name of this channel or the stream. That's what Tehillim makes fun of me because I have always problems, and he always thinks I'm sleeping. Well, I wasn't sleeping, but the real world takes precedence, unfortunately, and when it comes to me and streaming, I swear it's like Murphy's Law. There's always going to be something that gets in the way. I'm glad to see there's a couple of you. I want to just give my heartfelt apologies, making anyone wait. I don't like making people wait. And I felt like at first I was going to be like, I'm just going to cancel the stream. It's too late. I don't want to do anything. But I was like, that's going to be even worse because people might be waiting even longer. And I don't have a way of knowing. See, YouTube gives a thing if you have 1,000 subscribers or more, you can actually post text stuff on your YouTube channel, which would be really cool to do if I could post like updates and keep people notified of what's going on. But I have to rely on third-party stuff like Twitter or Discord, which is fine if you follow me on Twitter or you're a member of my Discord, but not everyone necessarily is, and it's just a pain in the ass. So I thought, you know what? Let's just do it. Like Bill O'Reilly said, we'll do it live. And if you haven't watched, if you don't know what that reference is, you need to go on YouTube and search Bill O'Reilly Do It Live. Back in the days when he was a host of Entertainment Tonight, it's like in the 80s, I think, or 90s. It was like it was like before they were airing the show, so you get like a behind the scenes moment, and he's like reading through like the show notes or something, and he's like, what the hell is this? I can't read this. And he's like just yelling at the stagehands and the producers, and he's just like flipping out. And like, but the show is a live show, or no, it's not a live show. But I guess it's like pre-taped or anyway, it's something. And he's like, he couldn't get it down like to like record it or whatever. But they were nearing show times. I don't know why they ended up having to do it live, but he just like freaks out. He's like, fuck it, we don't need to rehearse. Just fuck it, we'll do it live. And he's just like flipping out. It's funny to watch. It's become a meme. Like 30 years later. If you're in the house, please shout out in the chat. I see people. I want to give Ryuk the congratulatory props for being first. You get the you get the prize of waiting the longest. Jimmy says he's late again. What a guy. Well, I'm sorry, Jimmy. I'm real sorry. I'll tell you what. I will forego my paycheck this week as punishment for you guys. I'm very sorry. No, I mean I say that in jest and sarcastic, but I do. That's no excuse to keep people waiting. And you guys give me your time and your ears and your eyes, and I appreciate that. So I don't know how much I can apologize. I'll keep apologizing. And it doesn't feel good to be on this side, it's kind of have an egg on your face. You feel like shit. And you're just like, man, now everyone's, I guess the only thing I can do to make it up for you is just take my licks and let you make fun of me. Dragon Majesty says, hi guys, did he pass out? Yeah, so that's where I'm at. Eric Breen's in the house. Good to see you, Eric. This is way past Eric's bedtime, so the fact that he's here is dedication. I really appreciate Eric. Dragon Majesty, you too. Ryuk's probably long gone. There's a couple of you here, and as they say in show business, the show must go on. I'm certainly not in show business, but I can pretend. Is that how that works? How are you guys doing tonight? There's only, this is going to be a small, intimate show tonight. Another reason I feel bad about doing a late show is because the people who did show up that wanted to, watch it or participate or whatever, and then they left. And then it comes and it's like, dude, what the hell? I showed up and then it wasn't here, so I went and found other things to do with my life, and then I missed it. So that's another reason to feel sorry. Shit is going crazy in the world. Are you guys living in Crazy Town? I mean, we all know about the Kung Flu, but now that's not enough. Now apparently America needs to burn down its country. If you've been following what's been going on with Minnesota, um, it's so, I know that I've had some talks a couple of times about the LA riots, and I just can distinctly remember a couple of times the talk going that way and me explaining what it was like to be back in the early 90s and the LA riots and things blowing up and all that stuff. And then it's so eerie to be fast forward and it's like Minnesota, Minneapolis is almost like that. There's some key differences about Minneapolis that make it both more harrowing and not quite as much. Now, the reason why I say not quite as much is the LA riots were kind of crazy in the way that things just blew up. Like just like 1 minute there was this sort of tension, but nothing. No one. It's kind of like a gun, like the old Western movies. They had the shootout in the middle of the street. The high noon, and there's that tension before someone draws their gun, and then it's shooting, and then someone's dead. There was sort of like that as an analogy of this tension in the air, and then when the Rodney King verdict, not the Rodney King verdict, but the verdict that came down on the officers that had beaten Rodney King, and it came down that they were, I forget what the legal term is when you're let go. Basically, LA just was like, what the fuck? And just, it was like a powder keg. And shit went wild. Looting started, just shit getting lit on fire. Now, the reason I say it wasn't quite the same as the Minneapolis is because one of the scary things about the LA thing was how people fought back. Some of you, if you can go back, you've seen memes and stuff around about the Koreatown, and these Koreans on the roofs of their shops. Because the interesting thing about riots is people tend to not riot in their own town, or not necessarily riot, but like looting and stuff. People don't loot their own town. This is sort of an interesting phenomenon, which makes sense when you think about its core. They go to another town and burn it to the ground and loot and take it all back. And so Koreatown was looted when Rodney King, the trial didn't go the way people of a certain persuasion thought it should go. And so they went and tried to, and the Koreans were sitting on rooftops with guns. And that was like the crazy thing because it was like the Wild West. There was no cops protecting anyone. But you had people looting stores. You had people on rooftops shooting people in the streets. You're just like, Jesus. Now, Minneapolis, really different. You have the whole city erupting and same type of thing, but no one really fighting back, right? It just was like the city went crazy, burning down home. Like they were burning down low-income housing. Like you're just like, what the hell are you doing? What do the low-income people do to be a problem? I mean, I get looting Target and trying to steal yourself a free TV. I don't advocate for that, but I get the motivation behind it. And it just, what was eerie about the Minnesota thing is just no one fought back. It was just, let it happen. Let the city burn. And then when I saw the next day, I think it was the next day, and they evacuated the police station, and like the rioters were outside, and it was like, it just reminded me of like when they evacuated the U.S. Embassy in Iran. If you want to go back, for those of you that didn't live during that time, you can go watch Ben Affleck's movie Fargo. It's kind of based on that story. And I'm like, this is in the United States of America. And, part of me wasn't so phased because I had seen the LA riots. And then, of course, we saw Ferguson and other things. But this was bigger. This was bigger than anything since LA. And now it's like hitting others. New York, San Francisco, Seattle apparently is really bad. I'm hearing about all this stuff. And then today, so I live for those of you who don't know, I live in San Diego. Well, I don't live in San Diego proper. I live in the outskirts and the suburbs of San Diego. And it's a pretty chill city when it comes to that sort of stuff. Like, it's a liberal town. We're in California, but it's not. San Diego's where like all the liberals that just be like, yo, dude, I just want to be on the beach and smoke a bong. Like that's more of the San Diego liberal. All the uptight liberals seem to really flock to the Bay Area or LA. And historically, LA and San Diego hate each other kind of because of that. So while you have your uptight liberal nonsense here in San Diego, it's not to the extremes. So I was like, yeah, at least I'm in kind of a cooler area. I can see LA really erupting. I see San Francisco erupting because of this. And I'm seeing the chain reactions of like places that weren't even in that city following suit. And then I hear today, my town, one of the suburbs of San Diego, was like going on curfew at 7 o'clock, 7 p.m. curfew. And I'm like, what? And apparently they're worried about riots, and like the stores were closing at like 5 o'clock p.m. And I was like, what? And I don't pay attention to my local news. It's like we're in a different world. It used to be like I would actually watch TV and like see the news, and you would know what's going on in your local community. But the mainstream media has become such ridiculous fake news that it's stupid to watch. This is brainwashed television. And plus, I pulled the cord so long ago, and so I'm out of touch. I'm like, I don't even know this. My neighbor had to tell me like about the curfew, and then I was like, geez, what's going on? And then my buddy, my roommate, who doesn't get into any of this stuff, he doesn't get into politics stuff, or he just does his own thing, and so he and I are very different. I'm very much pro talk about it, as you can hear right now. And he's like, so I'm like, dude, well, I was kind of making light of it. I'm like, well, at least where we are, we don't really have to worry. I mean, it's just a precautionary thing, but nothing's going to happen out here. We're like in total suburbia. Like nothing's going to happen out here. And he's like, well, last night, such and such town, which is one of the other suburbs, like that neighbors us, City Hall burnt to the ground. And I was like, what? What? And he's like, yeah, apparently there was some. I was like, dude, you didn't tell me? He's like, yeah, I didn't think it was a big deal. I was like, what do you mean you didn't think it was a big deal? So I'm like, now I guess maybe I do have to worry. It's like, is shit getting that bad? I've been out of touch the past couple days. I pay attention to like the big headline stories, but that's usually how I'm at. I don't get into the granular, right? I'm the kind of person that was like, I'll like pay attention to the first week of the OJ trial. Those of you who are old enough to remember the OJ trial, that thing went on for 10 months. People were glued to the television for 10 months watching OJ on trial. I paid attention to like the first week and was like, okay, what's going on? All right, I'll tune in when the verdict's over. Same thing with Trayvon Martin. I didn't follow the whole, Trayvon, okay, what were the facts? Give me the details. Okay, cool. I'll tune back in when it's over and see how it wraps up. Because I think following the drama is kind of silly and pointless. And that's kind of how I treated this whole Minneapolis thing. I was like, good God, this is nuts. And I was like, well, it'll probably be like Ferguson, go on for a couple days and then eventually it'll die down. And but it's not. Apparently I saw a headline today that it's going like rioting worldwide, which probably means there's a couple incidences in other countries. But I guess that technically means worldwide. So... Anyways, I hope you guys are all safe. I'm not seeing many comments about that. Eric says we all left 10 minutes ago. Dragon Majesty says Uncle Hugo's science fiction bookstore was burned down in Minneapolis. Very sad. Yeah, it is very sad. I don't know Uncle Hugo's science fiction bookstore, but I feel very strongly for any of these business owners. I saw a clip of this black, it doesn't matter that he's black, but it happened to be that it was a black guy that was just starting his lifelong dream of owning a sports bar. And he was a firefighter. That was his career beforehand. He saved his money and he was going to open up this sports bar. And then just before it got to be open, the COVID strikes. And so that was putting that on hold, if not completely in jeopardy. And then, he's trying to like save his money and keep it. And then this shit happened in Minneapolis. And then the rioters came in. They didn't burn it to the ground, but they like just looted and destroyed the whole place. And there was footage of like the news and guys coming in like filming the bar like it's destruction, and guys like looters coming in and trying to break the safe out of the place while they're filming about the story. I was like, what the? It's surreal. It's surreal. Um, it, man, I don't know where this country's going. I, I, I don't know how we can stand with all the racial tensions that have been going on and really been pushed in the previous 8 years before. Well, I mean, even since Obama left office, the left, the liberal left, have been really pushing racial tension. Um, Probably even harder, probably stepping on the gas. And of course, they're not helping anything. They're the ones just fanning the flames. And it sucks. That guy, what was his name? George. I feel bad. I can't remember his name. But you guys know the guy who lost his life. It's being turned into a huge race issue because he was black. The cops that were responsible for his death were white, and so therefore it was whites hating blacks. But that's not necessarily the case. I don't know the motive. But what's really sad is that a man died, and a man died unnecessarily. It doesn't matter what his skin color was. He didn't deserve to die. Not in the way that he did. It was very careless. And what's interesting about the whole rioting is, though, what's between, I mentioned this real quick, I'm going to finish this up, but the Rodney King deal was when Rodney King, the riots happened, it didn't happen when Rodney King got beat. I mean, you can go see the footage, and that footage is pretty harrowing too, of all the cops standing around in a big circle, Rodney King in the middle, and there's like aerial footage of cops just coming in and just kicking the shit out of him, beating him with clubs. It's awful. Like it's unexcusable. There's never an excuse to go burn down your city because something happened the way you didn't like it. But one of the big differences of then versus today is all that shit happened. People got really pissed off. And then the cops got arrested, and then there's a trial and all this stuff, and no one lost their shit until the verdict. Then when the verdict was like, oh, the cops are getting off, then people were like, oh, what? Fuck. And then they started burning and looting. Again, not advocating any of this, but a little bit more reasonable context, where here we see the victim, he's killed, and which is, of course, worse than being beat. Rodney King didn't lose his life, but he's killed. But everything was being taken. Like the cop was immediately fired. An investigation was started. The FBI got involved. The president gets involved. Things were being moved towards like, hey, we need to address this. But no one waited. No one waited to see if it would be addressed appropriately. It was just start burnt like immediate. That's one of the big differences between today and back then, and that's why I'm talking about just the tensions, how it's different. People don't even wait anymore. Melissa, good to see you. We're just talking about, I feel like I'm doing my late night thing here, and the whole idea is to read you guys, a bedtime story so you can go to sleep. And then I'm always talking about this negative stuff that no one. I mean, some people are okay talking about. I'm sure not everyone in the audience is like, and I was like, God damn, Ash, like, it's not what we're here for. And I sympathize with that. I understand if you're not here, and I'm not trying to antagonize anyone or make anyone feel bad. It's just the whole point of this talking thing for me. That's the only way I know how to talk, is to be honest and say what's on my chest. I could make up a bunch of fluff, and believe me, I would love to talk about sunshine and rainbows and awesome news and all this stuff, but we're living in, and I feel like I'm using this word over and over, harrowing times. But I'm sorry for that. Hopefully hopefully you can forgive me and say, you know what, it's not Ash. It's just the world that we're living in that's causing causing Ash to have nothing to talk about but that. I feel like talking about, hey, look, Henry Cavill and Ben Affleck are coming back to the movies, like, and that's cool news to talk about. I know I probably will. That's a good thing to talk about. But I feel like ignoring all the big things. I just feel like that's what so many people do. Our country's falling. I know not everyone is a U.S. citizen or lives in the United States, and for my brother Dahilam who's down south, in the world of Oz, understand that I'm speaking from an American perspective. For those of us that live here, our country's falling apart. Like, how can I? It's hard to think about other things. It's hard to just not talk about the 800-pound gorilla in the room. So, with that, I got that off my chest. Thank you. Thank you for hearing me. Melissa says, I'm conservative. I think people should not be looting. I don't think looting is a conservative or a liberal issue. I think looting is just bad. You just shouldn't do it. But sadly, we all can't kind of agree on this. Here's Comixology on the screen. I like to see what's on sale. There's really not much going on sale to notify you guys about. That would be something fun. I was trying to think about what books I should read tonight. Since I got enough people, I'm going to go ahead and go forward with the Fantastic Four. But I need an opener book, and I'm not sure what to read. So I was thinking about doing Gru the Wanderer. I was really thinking about doing Gru the Wanderer. What do you guys think about Gru the Wanderer? Or we do have Vagrant Queen, everyone's favorite book. I know you guys just love some Vagrant Queen. Hey, Ryuk's still here. Thanks for sticking with me, buddy. I appreciate it. Oh boy. Any opinions in the house there of what you'd like to see? I was thinking about Gru because I like to have something funny. So I like to have, we made fun of America, but America is, it's not something I can do all the time. And then I'm still not sure if that's what got my my video pulled. So, yeeks. That still kind of makes me nervous when I do the videos, because it sucks to like put this work. Not that I put a shit ton of work in it, but it sucks when you put effort into something and then someone else just comes and pulls the plug. Okay, Eric and Ryuk both say Vagrant Queen. Vagrant Queen, then go into something good. I'm assuming you meant good, not God. All right, boys and girls. Stand ready. Sci-Fi Channel has nothing on me. Take a little swig of some iced tea to wet my whistle. I've never read this. I've never even opened this. I have no idea what to expect. This is going to be a completely cold read. Stand with me, guys. Here we go. And here we go. Child Queen Alida was driven from her throne at age 10, forced to wander the galaxy, evading the evolutionary forces that wanted her dead. Now Alida has returned to her former kingdom to stage the rescue of her long-lost mother. They took her throne. She told them to keep it. Wait, what? What? That's the conflict? They took my throne. They can have it. The end. There's no need for a story. Okay, moving on. Let's go. Eric says no one has read this. Eric, I love you. We need to really stream together, and I mean it. Like really. You're a funny guy. I need you to uplift my spirits. Vagrant Queen. Here's here's the variant cover. For those of you that needed to make sure you have multiple versions of this book. Oh my god, look at this art. A variant cover of a book that sells like 1,000 copies. The good news is this shit is rare. Is rare. Christopher Barker says, I wouldn't read this just looking at the cover. Well, Christopher Barker, let me just tell you something. That means you're a bigot, because this is written by the one, the only Mags Visaggio. You can't hardly read what her name is here in the thing. Let me put this full screen so you guys can get it in all its glory. I think Vagrant Queen's actually a good book to read tonight, because a lot of people missed because of the foobar of my fault. So I feel like I'm doing a favor of not making them miss something good. This could be good. This is Mags Visaggio. It's illustrated by Jason Smith. I mean, he's a superstar. So Christopher says the book looks like puke. Well, thank you guys for making me laugh. Okay. The Other Side of the Galaxy. Weeks ago. Turn. Damn your blood. Turn. Wait, who says damn your blood? What the? Wonk, 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 wonk. Attention, personal transport, Lucy Maxon. This is the Admiralty ship Thunderer. Disable your engines and you will not be harmed. Beep. This is a giant red button on the dash of this ship. Look at the button. It's as big as, it's like a frisbee sized button. The control panel. Stupid. Fat chance of that. Whoosh. Oh, look at that. Look at those great spaceship designs. I can understand why Sci-Fi Channel picked this up in a heartbeat. They were like, we have to have this. Exact. Oh, he's still being pursued. Live. I just making alarm sounds. I don't know if there actually is alarm. I would assume there'd be alarm sounds going on right now. And by the way, don't anyone tell Mags Visaggio that I'm doing this, because she will strike my channel. Like I am braving the unknown for you. She struck Richard Meyer, our boy Zach. She does not play fair. Well, not that I'm playing fair, but I'm just reading her book. I'm trying to build her fan base. Terminate flight and prepare for docking. Dun 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 dun. Dun. Wait, that's the wrong music. Bloop. I guess these space tyrants don't have tractor beams. They just have cables that shoot out. I mean, I was hoping to meet with the Admiralty's top brass. Alert. This reminds me of that everything's fine meme. The little cartoon dog is sitting in hell, everything's burning. He's like, everything's fine. He's like drinking a coffee. That's what this reminds me. If you just take away that word balloon on the left side, it just, everything's fine. Or just replace the word balloon with that. I should actually do that. But no one would know what this is. Zija Station. today. Are you kidding me, Vado? It's junk, Alita. Yes, it's literally junk, but Vado, this is some great friggin' junk. Bring me something valuable, and then we'll talk. Till then, I'm not going to let you cheat me again. Cheat? Cheat? I brought you a dozen loans of Siberian salvage. That was the deal, Vado. Now you're going to tell me it's not good enough, you rotten little... Little? I believe our respective circumstances make me very big, relatively speaking. Listen, I didn't get rich by honoring my agreements to the letter. I've always preferred the spirit of the law. So let's talk. Drop her, Vogel. Uh-oh. That's one serious-looking protagonist. Whew. Apparently, when they were holding her, they didn't frisk her. She's armed. Oh, he doesn't look happy. Wham! Oh, sucker punch. Vsh, vsh. So, Vado, I don't know how to pronounce the name. Oh, she just killed his men. He told him to drop her. That wasn't very nice. You wanted to talk? Oh, look, she holds her pinky out. That's exactly how I eat gummy bears. I like this girl already. That's a weird panel. Wait a second. What the hell? Okay, so we went from that to this. What the hell is this? It's like a crack in the wall, someone peering. The next panel doesn't show. We don't know. We don't know what the hell. Hey, Chaz, hook me the hell up. Alita, Alfair, man, oh man. That is, look at the design of this droid. George Lucas, you ain't got nothing. You ain't got nothing on wherever the hell this book is called. I already forgot. Sorry. Carrying cash? Smiling like you just killed a man? To what do I owe the pleasure? Listen, dude, I'm just having the best day. Holy jeez. What the fuck? Well, it's about to get a lot better. Dun, dun, dun. The janitor walks in. Wait, no, is that... Who is this? Is this Kung Fu guy? What? What am I looking at? I just can't go anywhere, can I? Who are those guys anyway? You're always ducking them. Groupies. Of course. Of course. Christopher Barker says, these audio commentaries won't help your ratings, Ash. Oh. You don't like the commentaries? Do you want me to just read it straight? Is that what you're saying? Am I polluting the enjoyment of whatever this comic is called? What is this comic called? I really did forget. Kim and Kim? What the hell? Oh, Vagrant Queen. That's it. No, but I am serious. Like when I'm reading a comic that I don't feel is any good, I think the commentary. And I'm not pretending that I'm the professional comedians of the guys on Mystery Science Theater, but that idea of just mocking the book seems funnier to me. But you let me know. I'm sorry if you're really enjoying your Vagrant Queen. Then perhaps you should go buy a copy, because Mags Visaggio could use the money right about now, and you can listen to it without my commentary all you want. Much respect, though. Thanks. They're groupies. It's complicated. Of course it's complicated. Of course. You know, for someone trying to hide, you damn well make a show of yourself. Look at this dude just standing there eating a burger, and he's wearing a Star Trek red shirt, and he's gonna die. He's just standing there eating a burger. By now, I bet half the station has heard about your little dust up with the richest your back's alive. Look at the name of this thing that he's drinking. Sheep shit 1867. Okay, that's legitimately kind of funny. Props, probably I'm gonna props the artist. I think that's actually good. He's drinking sheep shit 1867. Man, fantastic. It's you. Stare. Beep, 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 beep. Look at that. He even had to write it in. Stare. You know that you have problems with visual storytelling when you have to write in stuff in the art explaining what you drew. I had a problem with this on Giant Size X-Men, by the way, with the Hickman book. When you're trying to tell a visual story and you have to write in what's happening, that you're failing. You're failing. Uh-oh, I wouldn't drink that sheep shit. Oh, look at that's the Luke Skywalker. Oh, she just drinks the sheep. Look. Oh, just from The Last Jedi. Wow. Is it even green? It's not green. It's not green milk. Why am I talking to you again, Isaac? You know I was having just the best day. I got my ass paid. I got to piss off Vado. That's not good. Yeah, but it's fun. But Vado basically runs Zija. He had it coming. But he could blackball. Why am I talking to you? Geez, okay. Fine, okay. I have a business proposition for you. I want to hire you, after a fashion. This face. This is the face of, do I look like people want to hire me? Oh, she even knows. Look at she even knows. Okay, but really. Dude, look. I don't need your business proposal. I'm 100% awesome for money right now. Seriously, I could not imagine circumstances where I'd let you back on my ship. My ship? Jesus Christ. You can't still be holding that against me. Need I remind you that you shot me? Shot me, Isaac? For which I already apologized. Ha! You never apologized. Fine. I'm sorry. I'm sorry you made me shoot you. I gotta drink some more of this sheep shit. This is good stuff. You know what? That was a plus right there. Good enough for me. Hot damn. Dude, you have my attention. Tell me about your business proposal. Wait, what the hell just happened? I'm sorry you made me shoot you. That was A+ there. What the okay. I know where your mother is. Dun dun dun. Oh. Wait. Just a mother. Excuse me? We could think about it for a while. I said, I heard you, okay? We should talk. Dude, bitch, he's trying to talk to you this. Oops, I hit the mic. He's trying to talk to you right now. Chaz, got a private room? Oh, hell yeah, the special one. Don't even joke, dude. This is strictly business. Well, when you're a prostitute, what are you going to say, right? It's always business. Am I right? Am I right? And that's chapter 3. What the hell did that just happen? What? Transition, back, forward, back. Okay, chapter 3. Chapter 4, the abyss. No, the maw. No, the gaping expanse. Christ, that's terrible. Whatever chapter 4, TBD, Dago daring stands alone, surrounded by 3 maw beasts. Maw beasts. Should I call it the maw? I don't know. Is your name the maw? Why are you stuffing your face with a big ass sandwich? Just what is with these books and people always stuffing their face? ASV Thunderer to Zija Station. This is a first priority Admiralty transmission. I don't even know what that means, but it means something. Buh? Here? Look, it's funny because she's got food in her mouth and she's all agape because she's in shock, and she's got the crazy eyes, the shock eyes, where you can see all the cornea around it. Please suspend all external transmission except with this ship and prepare to receive our boarding party. Fail to comply, and you will find your deference to Zija Station has its limits. Hey, look, there's a parking sign in space. Get it? I don't get it. Get security and have them lock down the promenade. We also need this entire docking level secured, says this weird-looking nerdy dude. These Admiralty goons don't get any further than that. I cannot believe this. Okay, Christ, okay. Open the airlock. Psh. I made that sound effect. They didn't have it in the book. Greetings, most excellent Commandant. I know this is highly irregular, but we're in pursuit of a very certain fugitive. And you know the one. And we've tracked her here. Here? I know the Republic's invested in finding her, but... But, Commandant, what could you object? The revolution depends on it. For the sake of the Oriopan people and their republic, Queen Aldaya must die. This is disgusting. It's private, so that's a plus. Except now everyone in there thinks you and I... Gah. Wipe. Again, with the... You gotta... we already talked about that. You've got a lot of gall to show up spouting garbage like this after what you did. So credit for having a surplus of gall, I guess. But if you're playing me, it's no game. This is real. I know where she is. I know everything. 8 years back, your ship was boarded by the Admiralty. You escaped. Your mother didn't. I never told you that. How? I was selling you out, Alita, trying to get some extra money by turning state. But you still have friends on the inside. They gave me this. So he's explaining this whole thing that happened. Her mom's missing. How did you know? Because I was selling you out the whole time. Why didn't you just shoot him now? Oh, look. She gives him... It's a locket. Deal is, I take you to get your mother, and I get Peggy back. Peggy? The Winnipeg. My ship. My ship. You stole it. You shot me. Flop. Again. I gotta point out. Don't know what's happening, so you gotta write. She's flopping back on the bed. We would never be able to guess otherwise, so I guess I'm glad you put that there. See, right now I'm weighing the possibility that this is just the worst, most tasteless ruse against the fact that this is, minimum, a really good facsimile of my mom's necklace. Is she vaping? I can't. It looks like she's vaping. Assuming you aren't in on it, could be the Republic Admiralty or the Loyalists, both been after me for years. Let me guess. She's deep in Oreopen space. Well, I mean, yeah. This is critical security. Oh, sorry. This is a critical security announcement. Oreopen Admiralty forces are in temporary control of Zija Station. They will be conducting a routine search for a known fugitive. Thank you. Oh? Look at that face. Man, that's a face only a mother could love. Oh. Well, I guess there's the answer. I had nothing to do with this. Right. You were only just trying to sell me out, so this is totally unrelated. Do you think I'm stupid? Alita. Wham! Oof! She storms out. Damn it. Ooh, she's running. Look, there's aliens in the background. She's running to the lift. Oh. Sellout friend who's totally not Lando to her Han Solo. Not at all. Oh, some doofus security guards. She just blasts. Just fries them. Yeah, we're still here just doing our job. Is, keeping the peace on the station. And just, we're dead. Oh, man. What's the point of energy weapons if they make all this blood? She pushes. That's a big-ass button. Why does this world have gigantic buttons? Ding! Apparently elevators still make the ding sound in however many hundreds of years in the future or wherever this is. I don't know what's happening. She looks like she's laying up against... I can't tell. Oh, it must be the hangar. Is she looking around a corner or something? Is that a ship? I guess that's a ship. That must be her ship. Apparently she's not very stealthy because all the guards are just looking at her. Good day, madame. It was. I take it you're from Alita Alfair? Wait. I take it you are Alita Alfair. We've been tracking this ship for some time. Not one that's hard to miss either. It's a bit of a classic. The Trozen S900. 60 years old, distinctive shape, signature, resonance, frequency. Discontinued some years back because the engine has a theta ray leakage problem. In certain circumstances, kaboom. Still, detectable from some distance even after it's been fixed, especially if you know what you're looking for. Oh, she's reaching back behind her again. I wouldn't. Vish, 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 vish. Hi. Oh, look, they're all dead. Wait, some of them are dead. Some of them are still standing. This is what... Why... So, shoot... A bunch of people get shot. This guy's... I shot a couple people. I left the other people standing. So, now run. Why don't you just keep shooting? What the... Now she's running. Fire! These people need to know. Because this is the most exciting firefight. Alita, it's open. Good, they made it to the Falcon. I mean, what the hell was the name of his ship? What was it called? I already forgot. He had a cute nickname for it too. Just this is a total ripoff. 3. Oh, Jesus. She's ripping off my line here. 3, 2, 1. Beep, boop. Let's jam. Oh, yeah. I'm going to add, this is my new thing. 3, 2, 1. Let's jam. Well, isn't that a dandy? Prepare a full pursuit, but don't rush it. We've got time. Ever seen the things Dragon Majesty says the Peggy? That's right. Lucas as the Millennium Falcon, and the Magus Massaggio is the Peggy. The Winnipeg. Oh, Jesus. Have we ever seen a military that behaves like this? Prepare a full pursuit, but don't rush it. We got time. We're just gonna be leisurely. I know exactly where they're going. I added the sneering sound myself. Artistic liberty. Whoa, I don't remember the ship looking like this. Is this the same ship? I'm confused. But notice how it has the asymmetrical design, just like Lucas. You don't see this in anywhere else, any other sci-fi type thing. The only place you see the weird asymmetrical ships design, it's like clearly a George Lucas Star Wars thing. Anyway, I don't know. It's fine. I'm only mentioning that because this is so ripped off. Like, it's not a clone of Star Wars, but you can tell like it's the Star Wars fanfic stuff all over the place. Hey, Isaac, thanks for the assist, or whatever. I guess that makes us even. Absolutely it does not. You shot me, and you were gonna turn me the hell in for money, you garbage person. Who talks like this? I mean, besides the author. Oh, jeez. Sorry? It just looks like a total doof. God, he's like the hipster Lando, the white hipster Lando, and the black. I don't even know what you call this. Not a diva. She's not really a diva. She's a black bitch. I don't know. Just like Han. She's supposed to be the Han Solo, I'm assuming. I don't know. Were you serious before? About what you said about my mom? Yeah. She's way out in forbidden space. Imprisoned in the monastery of Wix. Shit. That makes a stupid amount of sense. Wix was always where my family sent political prisoners. Your family sent political prisoners? Like, so, wait a second. So you're part of the evil Gestapo too? Wait a second. I thought you were the victims here. Your family, and wait a second. They had a place where they sent the political prisoners, and it makes sense to you, but you're not smart enough to ever have thought of this and go, maybe I should go look there for my. And he responds, poetic justice. And she turns, and then the artist forgot to write stare. Fine. If you're lying to me, if I'm lying, neither of us will be alive long enough for you to do anything about it. Next, issue 2. The most daring break-in imaginable. I don't know, I can imagine some pretty daring break-ins. And that, my friends, that was Vagrant Queen, issue 1. Now, I have not seen the TV show, which I really need to now. I really need to see at least an episode of the TV show because I want to compare. I want to know, is the TV show worse or better than this comic? Because I've heard that the TV show is atrocious. Say what you will about this comic book. This comic book was not a good comic. You saw I gave it 1 star. But it wasn't bad in the way some comics I read are just bad. This was bad in a sense that it was completely amateur. This was a comic written by someone who does not understand just even the basic fundamentals of writing. Which is weird because Mags has been a professional comic book writer for 10 years now? Nominated for Eisner Awards. And now has officially sold properties to television for her stuff to be adapted. It's crazy. This is a crazy world we live in. But I didn't, honestly, when I was reading this, it was the same thing with America, where it was so bad, but it was bad in a ludicrous way that you could have fun with it. That you just it's just what? Some of these books I read just are bad and they're just pain. There's no fun. It just saps all my energy. I don't want to read comics anymore. This makes me go, if this was written by a 6th grader, some 6th grade girl was like, hey, look, I wrote a little comic book. I'd be like, hey, good job. That's awesome. I would give words of encouragement and say yeah, keep trying, and when you grow up, you could probably be a successful comic book writer. But this isn't a 6th grader, and this isn't an amateur job. This is a professionally produced comic book that was sold to be a TV show by an Eisner nominated person. Wow. Eric says future writers will be nominated for Visagios. Oh man, Visagios sounds like something I would have for breakfast. This is part of this complete wholesome breakfast. Visagios and new cinnamon sugar Visagios. Marania's in the house. Hey Marania, good to see you. She commented earlier saying, now if she has an In-N-Out burger, it's definitely a ripoff of the greatness that is the Ash program. The Ash program. I didn't know I had a program. Eric said, now we know where Ash gets his material. Hey now. Hey. Well, sometimes even bad stuff can have something to offer. This is now the 2nd Mags Visagio book I've ever read. The first one I read, I did a video on, and it was a Valiant book. Don't remember the name. Doctor something. That's the whole thing about these Mags books. They're just not very memorable, or memorable, I believe is the right word. It was something. It's weird. It's weird how there's 2 kinds of bad. There's bad in the sense that you know what you're doing, but you just are so dull, or you're so just failing at whatever you're just hacking out crap, or you're a person who has passion and you're like a tryhard. You just don't have any clue what you're doing. You're like I said, you're like the little middle school kid who's like, I made a comic book. You're like, all right, hey, look, Johnny made a comic book. You're like, this is something, if a kid had made this, I would be like, way to go, man. Good job. I can't wait to see what you're doing in 10 years. Marania says, Visagios sounds like a Kmart Blue Light Special ripoff of The Sopranos. The Visagios. Man. thank you guys for sticking with me through that. Hopefully, you enjoyed it as much as I did. It was not to the level of greatness that America is. I have to say, all due respect, Mags Assaggio is no Gabby Rivera. And I think I can get an amen on that. Melissa, this comic will make good toilet paper with the virus going on, toilet paper storage. This comic makes good toilet paper. I'm going to tell you what. I think I give this comic book a little bit more of a pass because I believe that anyone should not only have the right to make their own thing, but should be encouraged to create their own stuff. And then you let the free market decide. And I'm actually way okay with bad quality comics. I'm way okay with bad quality anything. In the movie sense, right? If you guys ever heard of Trauma Pictures, they do like the Toxic Avenger and like, didn't they do like Attack of the Killer Tomatoes? I mean, and they do these movies that are just horrendously bad movies, but like it's kind of their trope at this point. Like they're not there to be the Hollywood blockbuster. They actually have a fan base of people who appreciate the level of how bad they are and watch them purely on that level. They're like kind of a cult thing. I could see books like this, like America for sure. And Gabby Rivera is a national treasure for a reason, fitting in that area. Now the difference between this and America though is this is Mags's own characters. This is her own creation. This is this whatever. And you can come in and be like, I had fun with this, or you could say it's complete garbage, but it has every reason to exist. When you come in and you do a property like Superman, you have certain expectations you need to meet, right? Like when they make a Superman movie, it needs to be a certain level of quality. You wouldn't let Trauma Pictures do a Superman movie and then it would be utter it wouldn't. I guess maybe that actually kind of would be funny, but you know what I'm saying? Like the mainstream would just be like, what the hell is this shit? Anyways, I'm preaching to the choir here. Tehillim says, did you mean Dr. Mirage? Yeah, that was it. Dr. Mirage. Just like a real Mirage. Like you see it for a minute and then it goes away and then you forget about it. So Melissa says, do Death in the Family. I only have the first issue of Death in the Family, so I can't. I mean, I could read the first issue, but I'm not gonna read that tonight because we only got 2 comic books on the agenda, and the second one is gonna be read right now because I'm behind schedule. And Melissa, I know I want to save your heart and soul. I know this book is probably gonna greatly offend you, although it hasn't been terrible. Actually, it's been pretty good. This is not the same stuff as the X-Men. Hickman has not messed up the Fantastic Four in any way that I've seen. So anyone who's upset with what Hickman's doing with the X-Men need not carry that over, in my opinion, to the Fantastic Four. I think these are completely different animals. And I think Hickman's talent for doing sci-fi and weird conceptual stuff works really well with the Fantastic Four. So I'm going to get on with the show. Eric says Ashley Kaufman on line 1. I'm missing that joke. Sorry. And here we go. 6 months ago, the blue area of the moon. I'm guessing we're looking at the Inhumans. It is time. What follows will be a delicate period. All things lie in flux. Even as the time of gathering draws near, circumstances force us away, so someone must stay behind. Of all inhumans, you were chosen. I am your wayfinder, my lord. Black Bolt has a saying, may never a word be uttered when action alone will do. This is a summoning. Two months ago. Closer. Yesterday. Look up, Watcher. It is indeed a time of change. Six hours. That's how long ago the long-range photo was taken by a Foundation surveillance satellite in lunar orbit. It landed in the blue area on the dark side of the moon. So we've got this before anyone else. Questions? Any idea what it is? Based on its profile, my first guess would be an exploration or colonization vessel. I suppose it could be a mining operation, helium-3 maybe? Honestly, I don't know. Oh, I know where this is headed. One small step. Exactly. Who's up for a walk on the moon? 30 minutes later. Shh. The door's opening. Made some sound effects for you. Oh. The Fantastic Four have their own rocket, of course. That can apparently just launch in the middle of the city. That's not dangerous at all. Okay, this is one of those things where you just go, okay, comic books. I'm not going to be too harsh. I just think there's a reason why rocket launches, space shuttle back in the day, for those of you who are old enough to remember the space shuttle, would launch, like in the middle of, not middle of nowhere, but like on a launch pad, there's nothing around it for like miles. There's a reason. And this would just destroy windows. And anyways, it's comics. I should shut up. Sorry. Here we go. First stage separation in 25 seconds, Ben. Heh. Just like old times. Hell yeah, just like old times. Later. Lunar orbit. There it is. Oh, how could we miss it? I'm reading 4 massive power sources feeding into what looks like a primary environmental controls and an interdependent propulsion system. There are tens of thousands of smaller heat signatures, Johnny. Uh-huh. Got the same, maybe more. Whatever's in there, there's a whole lot of it. So how do we get in? 4 honored guests, such as the Fantastic Four. I'd simply recommend the door. Who? I am Dal Damak, the Wayfinder, loyal servant and proxy for our king, Black Bolt, during his absence from this system. I am the summoner, the herald of a new inhuman age. Welcome to Universal City. Great. Just what we need, another stupid city. Hey. What you're standing on? I can see it. You constructed a perpetual motion planar construct that doesn't require constant thought. It's so simple. Why haven't I ever thought of that? I think the better question is, why would a woman such as yourself ever let her feet touch the ground? Oh, man, that was a good pickup line. Better? Great. Can we go inside now? Follow me. I'll show you the way. The size of this vessel is staggering. What race created it? Races, Dr. Richards, races. When the four became one, a new monoculture of destiny was created. Individual roles were redefined. What a person used to be no longer mattered. Now you have to ask yourself, how do I best serve the universal collective? Here is one answer. He is Eldrak, the doorway. Once a politician for a minor faction, he became irrelevant during unification. Now he serves as the threshold between this place and all others. Amazing. Necessary. There is no place for redundancy here. I take it you're aware of the origins of the Inhumans? Of course. Then you know all of this started with the Kree and their experimentation on early humans, Homo antecessor, because of man's unique genetic potential. Yes, an observation the Kree made from their Parallax-class science base that was located on Uranus. I'm well aware of what most people do not know. What you do not know, Dr. Richards, is that this Kree experimentation was not carried out from a single base on a single species, but on many bases and on many species. Success was achieved with 5. 5? The common belief, one shared by almost all Kree elite in the sacred halls of Hala, was that the Supreme Intelligence was doing this to build sentient weapons. But the Supremor, you see, had other plans. Secret plans involving the long view of the Kree race. He was not interested in simply playing God at the base genetic level of various species. He was interested in transformation, a response to specific catalyst. You're talking about pterogenesis. Yes. For us, that catalyst was exposure to the mists of the pterogen crystals. For others, it was something else. One race underwent isogenesis, caused by injecting the extract of the isogen orbs. For another, one drop of the irreplaceable diluted water from the dormant amphigen well caused amphogenesis. And in another, antigenesis, brought on by consuming the nectar of the night blooms from the antigen tree. And then there was the external change, exogenesis, that comes from inhaling exogenous spice. The Supreme Intelligence intended for us to be something more than just weapons. He intended for us to be fertile soil, genetic harvesting ground, a way to reignite stagnant Kree evolution. We got company. Easy, Ben. Do you understand? Together with we earthbound together with we earthbound and humans, the people of this city represent salvation for a dying race. Oh my God. You're beginning to sense the scope of it, aren't you? Even now, Black Bolt returns to close the circle. The Inhumans of the Attilan travel to the homeworld, Hala, to save the Kree? To crush them under his heel. Whatever the Supreme Intelligence intended, Black Bolt will lead us on a new path. We are his people, a tribe unto ourselves. The Universal Inhumans. Oh boy. And while our collective rules jointly, each house retains a separate structure unique unto itself. The Centauran royal family is led by the matriarch Ula Udonta. The ruling Mord Council is presided over by the Badoon Queen Aladi Koeki. Onomi Whitemane is the first chair of the Chimelian White Room. And the goddess Ovo rules the Dire Wraiths. Though we're all different, within each of us lies a distinct genetic marker. Something we all share. You see, we were constructed with a dormant mythology, shared visual imprints left by those who made us. A group memory? A destiny, human. 5 queens for the one king. The one king who returns from the forever night. And under his banner will claim our holy land, New Hala. So you see, Dr. Richards, Black Bolt is returning soon, and then, as foretold, we will all be together for the first time. A new people in a new land. Here, on the blue area of the moon. No. Someplace better. They all point up. Oh, no. Where do you think they're pointing to? Now go and spread the word of his coming return. Dun, dun, dun. You just knew they were pointing at Earth. Then we get the blue page. Here we get the rest of the story that couldn't be put in a comic book. Here we go. There are roughly 110,000 citizens living on the Inhuman City ship. Population estimates are 22,000 Centaurans, blah, 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 17,000 Badoons, 26,000 Chameleons, 44,000 Dire Wraiths. Okay, whatever. There's currently 726 Inhuman prisoners located on the black level of the city ship. The Light Brigade is an elite group comprised of the 6 greatest Inhuman warriors. Each Light Brigade is formed to take part in a ritual called the Offering. The Offering takes place once every generation. During the ceremony, the Light Brigade takes on an endless succession of trials in order to internally prove the worthiness of the Inhuman collective. The Offering ends with the death of the last living member of the Light Brigade. No Light Brigade has ever survived longer than a year. And that is the end of that story. Our most valiant sons and daughters. Well, that was a pretty big hook. It's kind of what Hickman's good at, setting up stages. The Inhumans going off, and this was a big setup story about now they're going to apparently invade Earth. Pretty crazy, and the Fantastic Four are in the middle of it all. So this is back on track about what I was enjoying with the early parts of this story. So I'm very much enjoying it. Hopefully you guys are too. Let me see what's going on in the chat. Melissa says, I might stick around. Oh, hey, it's good to see you around, Melissa. You're always welcome. Tahila says, no domes to protect the homes. Oh, Lloyd Kaufman is the head of Trauma. Sorry. I think of Andy Kaufman. And so I was like, is Lloyd Kaufman, Andy Kaufman? I don't know. I didn't. Dragon Majesty, The War of the Four Cities. Now, keep in mind, I was absent from Marvel Comics during this era, so whatever's going on in this story is all kind of new to me. You guys may have been reading the comics during this era. No, even if you didn't read Fantastic Four, maybe knew about the bigger scale stuff that's happening. I don't know. So when I kind of read this stuff, and again, all this is cold. I have not read any of these Fantastic Fours before, so this is all brand new to me. So if there's stuff that I don't know, if I'm missing stuff, if I seem clueless about the greater mythology of what happened in Marvel lore, you know why. Melissa says, do the Inhumans hate the humans? I don't know. I don't know. Melissa says, Inhumans getting high on alien coke. Well, it could be. Melissa says, X-Men and Inhumans segregationists and isolationists. I hate segregationists. Yeah, I guess. The Inhumans have always been segregationists, though. Like, it's kind of been their whole MO, is like they kind of live separate. That's one of the things. It's kind of strange. Not that I wanted to have a big X-Men bashing session or anything, but when I think about the modern X-Men, especially like the Hickman version of X-Men, I go back and I think about like the Inhumans. And the reason why Inhumans could never replace the X-Men is because the Inhumans were weird, right? The X-Men worked because we identified with them. Chris Claremont wrote the X-Men to be just like us. The whole concept was, they were mutants and they were distrusted because of their differences. And so they got to play an allegorical role of anyone that's not necessarily looked down upon, but is an outsider that doesn't seem to fit in. And so, if you were back in the 80s, a teenager who read comic books, you already didn't fit in. You didn't have to be black or Mexican or gay or a woman or whatever. You were just a person. You were probably a bit of a dork or a geek or a nerd or something, and you're reading comic books while the rest of your teenage friends, you may have had other friends that did too, but the rest of teenage society was off going, well, you read comic books? What a dork, so you already understood the idea of not fitting in. Plus, just the idea of, growing up as a teenager, you don't feel secure in your world as it is. So everyone could identify with the X-Men. But what made the X-Men so relatable was their humanity, right? And modern X-Men don't get written this way. Modern X-Men keep getting written as like, they're not humans, they're mutants. Mutants and humans are different. It's like, no, they're the same. Mutants are human. The only difference is they have a different gene. So it'd be equivalent of saying, like, there are people born today that do not their body never grows an appendix. It's something that's like a macroevolutionary stage of humanity, and just there's certain people that don't have it. You could look at that as a mutation, but it's really like evolutionary. There's people with like webbed feet, right? That doesn't make them not human. Like, you have a genetic difference. So modern comics has always bothered me with this idea of like, the mutants are not human. It's like, no, they are. And Claremont recognized that they were just like, they were supposed to be like the next step of humanity. But what makes human in the proverbial sense, not the scientific sense, not the biological sense, but the proverbial sense of our, when we say things like our humanity, right? It's our character, it's our morality, it's our values, and things like that. And that's what X-Men held dear to, was their human values. It's like Superman. Scientifically speaking, biologically speaking, Superman is not human. But yet, he embodies the humanity of us all and what we strive to be, right? So how can an alien strive to be human? Like, because it's all about the context of how you're using the word. Inhumans never did. Inhumans are always like, we're Inhumans, we're different than you. And I think they were always not relatable because they were what the X-Men are today. The modern X-Men have become the Inhumans, and it's boggled my mind, because I'm like, why would you make the thing that worked, the thing that everyone liked, why would you make it like the thing that didn't work and the thing that people didn't like? If anything, you should make the Inhumans be more like the X-Men to try to make them work, not make the X-Men more like the... Anyways, I think I'm preaching to the choir. So, that's how that is. Let's see. Melissa says, me and my son Jake are of Jewish descent. Okay. I can understand historically why you might identify with being treated differently or looked down differently. But my whole point is, at least for me, this is my own personal values are about looking past differences and seeing the similarities, right? We're all the same, whether you're Jewish, whether you're of Scandinavian descent like myself, whether you're African descent, Asian descent, South American descent, wherever you're from, you're all humans, you're all people, and we don't look differently at someone because they got brown eyes versus blue eyes, typically, big nose versus little nose, tall versus short. But somehow we came up with a reason to look at people differently because there's a moniker in front. You can say, well, I'm not just a human, I'm a Jewish human. Well, okay. I just think that these are all sort of imagined differences that we use to see the different, like, there are things that we use as ways to focus on the differences, and that's what divides us. So behavior, I think, is what matters. And like Melissa says, I don't like the new X-Men because they're villains. Yeah, it doesn't matter whether they're mutants, humans, it's behavior. So with that, I'm not going to go on a long diatribe, as you guys know that I easily can. I really thank you all for sticking with me. I wasn't sure whether or not to do the show at all because it was late. I do apologize again profusely. I'll take all the lickings. For those of you that are still here listening, I appreciate your support. Appreciate you guys listening in, and I hope sincerely that you had some fun entertainment. I will be back Tuesday, and I will try to nail the schedule as best I can. Understand, of course, I appreciate your understanding that this isn't my full-time job. This isn't something I get paid to do. So sometimes when real life happens, like here in my hometown, we're going into curfew, and I live really close to the city hall, which is like barricaded up, and the police, I was like, it was just kind of worrisome. Plus I live, I don't live alone. I live with my buddy. He's got his kids here, where there's things going on, and it's not always easy to just drop of a hat, boom. So I know you guys are very understanding. You've always been that way. I always feel the need to explain myself. Tuesday night, 10, I'm going to do my best. And I will always try to pop into either Discord or Twitter or both if something goes awry, if I'm not able to. If I know ahead of time that the stream is going to have a problem, I will simply relist the stream with the new start time. So check that out if you're like, hey, what's going on? If you don't see the stream listed, if you see it listed for, those are some clues. And I'll just try to just keep the schedule best I can. Thanks so much. Rick says, Ash, we're lucky you showed up to stream. Hey, I'm lucky you guys stayed. I could be streaming to nobody. That's really, that does wonders on your psyche, by the way. When you have no one, you're just like, yeah, I'm gonna stream, and like no one's out there. You're like, there's 300, how many billion people on the planet? Like no one wants to listen. But yeah, thanks for having a good time. I had a good time. I wasn't sure I was really kind of down on it, but Mags Asagio, you brought my spirits back up, and I thank you for that. So